Brothers and sisters, we have gathered here today to go over Records of Ragnarok chapter 96. I'd advise you peace out of here if you don't want to be spoiled. As usual, let's do a quick recap of the previous chapter. If you want to skip the recap, then jump to this time on the screen or click the time code in the description. The previous chapter featured the ending of round 10 and began with an explanation that all martial artists seek to achieve a dream, and that is to kill without any weapons. For example, shooting without an arrow, striking without your fist, or even cutting something without a blade. This dream, while attainable, came with a steep price, as shown by an old swordsman cutting a boulder without a blade. Afterwards, the old swordsman suffered a fatal heart attack, dying at the peak due to exceeding the limits of humanity and reaching the realm of the gods. Susanoo's crow form silently bore witness to this monumental, yet tragic moment, foreshadowing the stakes of the round. Jumping back to the present, Okita's left side is destroyed from Susanoo's invisible sword, Musoken. Susanoo's body starts to crack from using the blade, while Okita is impressed with Susanoo's new weapon and expresses the fun he's having. Susanoo sympathizes with him and desires to fight forever, but he recognizes the toll of Musoken and proposes ending the fight with one final strike. Okita silently agrees and makes his final stand. Both Hermes and Ares debate about the concept of Musoken and can only theorize that it is truly a sword of nothingness that can't be seen. Zeus simply accepts the fact that it transcends the realm of reason, therefore it cannot be measured. However, one thing for sure is that Susanoo truly did reach the pinnacle of swordsmanship. Okita's teammates show worry and anxiety for his situation to the point where one comments on the hopelessness of the situation. Kondo tells him to pay attention and reminds them that this is what Okita would have wanted, a chance to go all out as a true samurai. Both swordsmen express their content fighting each other and begin their face-off as the spectators watch anxiously. Susanoo is the first to assume a stance. Okita braces himself as Susanoo slashes using Musoken again. Okita readies himself, but with the attack being invisible, he is slashed across the chest, coughs blood, and starts to fall to the ground. More cracks emerge from Susanoo's body, and Okita accepts death while he thinks to himself how strong Susanoo is, even when he gave all he had. Content with dying as a samurai, when suddenly Okita's teammates rekindle him and he wakes up declaring he can still fly. Okita makes his final leap towards Susanoo with half of his aura shaped like a bird wing. Susanoo questions how Okita can still fight and quickly dashes back while Okita runs out of power. Susanoo states that Okita can no longer reach him and readies the killing blow. Not giving up, Okita's eyes and body flares up with aura to deliver one last attack to Susanoo while off guard. He unleashes his ultimate technique, Flight to the Heavens 3-stage thrust. The attack landed and pierced Susanoo as Okita fell to the ground. Everyone is shocked, and Susanoo admires Okita for being able to pull off an attack like that in his condition and attempts to finish Okita, but Susanoo's time has reached as his arms begin to shatter. Realizing this is the end, Susanoo expresses a little sense of loneliness as he can no longer swing his sword, while his family is distraught at the sight of this. Before completely fading, Okita thanks Susanoo one last time, as Heimdall announces that Okita is the winner of round 10. With Okita managing to bring humanity a step closer to salvation, will he survive the aftermath of using his demon power? And who will be next to fight for the faith of humanity? This new month's chapter opens with Heimdall declaring Okita's win against Susanoo. Upon taking a closer look at Okita, a bad feeling emerges within the crowd as they notice he's unresponsive. Even some god spectators wonder if he'll die and be sent to Niflheim despite being the winner. Geir and Brunhilde worry for the Okita and Skalma duo, followed by Okita's squad mates running out onto the arena. With Kondo picking up his body, he states that he's not breathing. All of them try to wake Okita up, but are met with no success. Izanagi, Susanoo's father/creator, approaches them and asks them to step aside while expressing his surprise at Okita's victory. One of Okita's boys insults him and tells him the battle is over. Izanagi, however, refuses to let Okita die for Susanoo's sake, as he puts his glowing hand over Okita. The group was initially hesitant, but Kondo lays Okita on the ground in front of Izanagi. Izanagi begins to chant a phrase and the arena starts to glow. He completes his spell called Onogoro and Okita is resurrected with Skalmad returning to her normal form, leaving Brunhilde and Geir relieved. The gods are amazed that Izanagi was able to pull off such a feat, with the additional news of Okita will be fine as long as they take him to the infirmary. His teammates rejoice with joy, leaving Izanagi smiling. Before he departs, Kondo questions why he saved Okita, and Izanagi reveals that Susanoo had placed his life on the line and was able to reach the peak of swordsmanship due to Okita's unwavering personality, making Okita the human that Susanoo admired the most, leaving Izanagi to not allow such a great fighter to die. Izanagi bows to them and offers his gratitude on Susanoo's behalf. All the gods are shocked by his actions, and Izanagi continues to explain that since Susanoo was the one who always learned from humans, this fight ended up serving his true purpose. Susanoo's siblings agree, and Izanagi takes his leave. Okita starts to talk and calls out to his team. The team expresses happiness to hear Okita's voice, and Okita asks Kondo what he thought of his fight. Kondo says that he fought the battle of a true samurai, and Okita is content to hear that. However, he states that he can't hear Onigo's voice anymore. Okita now knows that Onigo is truly gone and reminisces on their promise to die together. Accepting Onigo's death, Okita tearfully acknowledges his fighting days are over, apologizing to Kondo. Kondo understands and congratulates Okita for being able to unleash all his swordsmanship during battle, allowing Okita to no longer be required to fight anymore. Okita agrees and begins to cry. Ares refuses to accept how things played out because he can't see how Okita survived Susanoo's last blow. Luckily, we have Hermes explain that Okita did a slight retreat before being hit by Susanoo's Musoken, permitting him to slightly deflect the blow from being fatal. Still baffled, Ares asks how he was even able to see Musoken if it's an invisible sword. Hermes hypothesizes that he developed such a high reaction speed that allowed him to avoid death. His ability to see the invisible sword likely resulted from his countless near-death experiences. Zeus further elaborates that Okita's final 3-stage thrust was very akin to Susanoo's Ama no Magaishi, as he used air pressure in his strikes, meaning Okita was able to use a divine technique, and the only way such an achievement was even possible is because of the swordsmanship, a technique created by humans, reminding Zeus that humanity is really meant to evolve within despair and grow amidst certain death. Geir cheers at humanity's victory, showing that they only need 2 more wins, with both sides tied at 5-5, entering the final stages of Ragnarok. She noticed that Brunhilde disappeared and went to search for her. She showcases her agitation by stating she may not be helpful, but she's still a Valkyrie, and that could be relied on nonetheless. During this, she runs into Brunhilde, who agrees that she is counting on her. Geir is embarrassed she hurt her, and questions why Brunhilde is even here. Brunhilde explained that there's someone important to her that Geir has to meet, triggering Geir to wonder who could that be. Suddenly, Brunhilde is acting a little weird, and it's shown that it was a hologram of Brunhilde all along. A mysterious figure appears behind Geir and chuckles. The figure quickly sprays her in the face and is revealed to be Nostradamus. Geir then passes out and calls out for Brunhilde. Speaking of Brunhilde, we see that she's taking time to pick the next fighter. The last remaining human fighters are Kentoki, Simio, Rasputin, and Nostradamus. The last god fighters are Anubis, Loki, and Odin. Brunhilde takes note how far they come, desiring to gain one more win. She slams her fist on the panel. She truly wants Odin to descend as a fighter to defeat him and be able to see Siegfried. Meanwhile, we jump to Tartarus in Helheim, and we are shown someone dragging a medical cart around. The person uses an amulet-like device to call for a floating cube, allowing them to travel. The person is allowed to bring the cart past the two guards into the prison, and in the background there are wanted posters for Buddha, Beelzebub, and Kentoki. The person reaches the large gate, shines the amulet once again, and walks into the cell. Following this, we see the person, once again Nostradamus, who is apologetic for reaching late, stating that the security is pretty tight. He explains that it's probably due to Kentoki's attempted raid and would be troublesome if he was lumped with them. The prisoner agrees that it was probably hard to get through the guards safely and asks Nostradamus if he was able to bring someone safely. Nostradamus did succeed in his mission and is shown to have brought Geir with him. He releases her restraints and apologizes to her. She retaliates and kicks Nostradamus in the face for kidnapping her while wondering where was she taken to. Standing in pain, Nostradamus announces that he really did want her to meet someone important. Nostradamus calls him Brunhilde's boyfriend while also being his friend, and is revealed to once again be the legendary dragon slayer hero Siegfried. Siegfried expresses his pleasure to finally meet Geir, leaving Geir with an extremely surprised face, shouting his name and bringing this month's chapter to a close. Lastly, we are given a little bonus section that showcases Susanoo's siblings watching Susanoo through the divine mirror after his exile. His brother Tsukiyomi expresses worry for his brother constantly flying around all day and wonders if any tools can help him in this situation. Amaterasu agrees and looks at the mirror. Afterwards, we jump to Susanoo's perspective, who debates about going to the east or west to see various swordsmen complete their technique, as he'll only be able to see one of them. He looks and notices that his brother and sister have dropped off their divine mirror to allow him to do less flying. Funnily enough, his loving big brother is still concerned for his well-being from being in a cave all day. Brothers, sisters, what is this? Y'all doing me hella dirty after all we've been through and how far you've made it into the video? One would think you would like me enough to at least sub or like the video. Think about it, free anime/manga content to come off the click of a button. You'd have to be a diabolical criminal to not accept that deal. Join the French Fry Army, and together we can discuss and learn about all the amazing content in this world. First thing first, Izanagi, my man, you are the absolute MVP. I really didn't expect him to come in and actually be able to resurrect Okita, and it seems without little consequence either. Like, you had to understand the situation. Izanagi, the father/creator of Susanoo, went, revived his son's killer, who, not to mention, is also a human. Not only that, but at the same time, he bows his head to humans and thanks him for the battle he provided Susanoo. But that goes to show you that not all gods are absolute pieces of shit. By far, Izanagi is the most chill non-fighter god that has appeared so far, and he has my absolute respect. Thank you, sir. One thing I've always liked about Ragnarok is every match has something surprising that completely shocks the audience expectations, and for this round, the most surprising thing is how Okita's death was handled. As stated earlier, I didn't expect a revival from Izanagi, but I don't hate it. It's creative, kind of a deus ex machina, but at the very least, Okita will never be able to fight again, sadly. This makes me speculate what would have happened to Okita and Scalman's soul, since they both died after Susanoo's soul was sent to Niflheim. Because usually, if you died during the Ragnarok match, then that's where your soul went after it shattered and it couldn't be reincarnated. However, after the match, they were dead and their soul didn't shatter. So does that mean they would have just been reincarnated? Or were they still just doomed to Niflheim sooner or later? I don't know. That's just a little thinking I've been doing. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. It's cool to see Okita survive, but breaks my heart to read that Onigo didn't make it. I mean, it makes sense because it was a demon soul that resided with Okita, and I'm assuming Izanagi can only bring back one soul, and it's a fitting way to end Okita's plotline because he fought his battle as a true samurai at his all-time peak. Dude really performed the craziest feats and even performed a divine technique in the end, similar to Susanoo. Like, yeah bro, he needs to be nerfed after that one. Either way, RIP Onigo, I loved your demon form, thank you for getting us the W. I'm glad Ares also had the same question I did last chapter with how did Okita even survive the last attack? And after Hermes' explanation, still seems like a little bit of an ass pull, but passable nonetheless. Gare, I'm not gonna lie, you a clown for falling for a Nostradamus little trap. Like clearly this Brunhilde image is looking off. Why approach it without caution? Anyway, this Nostradamus bastard is definitely planning something bad aside from working with Siegfried. I don't know. I just don't trust the two of them. What they have planned for Gare, I'm not too sure either. They might coerce her into performing Volund with one of them to help win Ragnarok. Also, how did Gare never meet Siegfried despite being in a relationship with Brunhilde? Seems like she's gonna have some explaining to do after this meeting. Can't wait to see how their meeting goes next chapter. Remember, this Joker isn't to be trusted. Finally, kinda tight we didn't get to see who the next fighters were, but it's not like we didn't get any good developments, so I'm content for now. And that's all I have for today. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. Comment your thoughts, and please click the like or subscribe to show your love and support. Stay safe out there, be good people. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.